Good morning, everyone. This is our Thanksgiving Roulette edition of Writers Chat, and I'm just really excited. We're going to have a fun day. We've asked everyone to stay on to play this game that we are calling Thanksgiving Roulette. And so we're just going to get right into it. I guess let me do introductions real quick. I'm Johnny Alexander, joined by co-hosts Melissa Stroh, Norma Poor, Brandy Bro, and other people in our community. A couple people off camera too. So we're just really, really excited to have everyone here. And if you're watching the replay, I hope that this will inspire you to think about the blessings that God has given you too, because that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about blessings. So what I've done is I've got this cute little jar, I don't know, pencil holder. I'm not sure exactly what it is. With the word right in it. My daughter gave me this. I love it. And I've got all these little cards in here. So I'm going to draw out a card for each person and they can answer that card or they can pass one time and then they have to answer the next one no matter what it is. And then if somebody if somebody really, really, really says, "Oh, I wish I had gotten that one," they can, when it's their turn, they can choose that one and say, "Oh, that's the one I wanted to answer." And we'll say, "Okay." So, so here we go. I'm starting with Melissa. I'm just going to go across my screen, and then we have a couple people off camera too that we want to include. So, and everybody ready? Here we
Ready.
go.
Does it matter?
What?
Doesn't matter, she said. Rachel. Did she say that,
Yeah, ready or not.
Here I come.
Okay. Okay. See the little card, so cute. Melissa, favorite writing related scripture that's a blessing to you.
Ooh.
And now it doesn't necessarily have to be about writing, but like a scripture like with your writing that just encourages you and blesses you. Or
Oh, definitely my all-time favorite scripture. It's always in my mind. That would be 1 Corinthians 13:12. For now I see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know fully, just as I also have been fully known. So that's my favorite verse, and that one really it ministers to me in so many ways. I couldn't even begin to really talk about it. But even in the writing aspect, to know, God has a purpose for me and a readers for me that He's set out to. And I might not understand what His purpose is fully, or where He wants me to go, or who He wants me to minister to, but eventually in eternity I will learn what that is and what difference that made. And so, yeah, just to pursue that, to show all of the things in that chapter, even that God wants us to do, to love, to edify, to minister to people. That, yeah, that verse is always with me and always reminding me and encouraging me.
that really gave me chills, especially just the first part. Like I see in a mirror dimly because, and we've talked about this before on Writers Chat, that we don't know what God is doing behind the scenes, and you don't know,
Mhm.
who's talking about you in a good way. I mean, thinking, oh, I wonder if this person would be a good fit for this project or whatever. So, and just other kinds of things like that that we just don't even see it and won't. And like you said, we don't know who we're blessing. And oh, I love that. That was a great
Mhm.
start, and that was not even planned.
You
All
were
right.
absolutely the right person for that question.
Yes, yes, I agree. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Rachel Colby, this is good.
Uh-oh.
A lesson. Okay, this is something to be thankful for. A lesson you learned the hard way. Do you have something you can share about that? This is a difficult one.
Oh,
I really put you on the spot. You are allowed to pass.
oh goodness. There's many.
Okay. So you're trying to choose.
I'm sure you're going, oh boy. One of those loaded things. Oh goodness. I wish I had time to ponder that. Well, I mean, recently, lesson I'm learning the hard way. Um, to request to see more of the manuscript before I say yes and quote a prize for editing.
Ah, that's a good one. That's a
And something I learned that I did right was requesting the last chapter. I was very glad I did that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
How was that helpful?
Because I had read the first couple of chapters and I read the last chapter, I said you spent a great deal of time introducing us to the character that introduces the story, and she's nowhere in the end.
Interesting.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, and literally could include her and have impact with a message in 2 sentences.
Mm, mm.
So anyway,
That's so insightful, too, because not having read the intervening chapters,
right?
you were able to say you only need 2 sentences to draw her back into this story.
Yes,
That's well, that shows
yes,
your talent as an editor, I would say, right? It like
right. I
that.
just felt like it was a promise to
Of
when
course. Yes.
you spend a couple pages with someone introducing the drama of the story, it's
Hmm.
like a promise to the reader that this person means something
Absolutely.
to the story. And
Absolutely.
so I said, unless she got tragically killed or something, there's some serious reason why she's not there. It just seems like, where'd she go?
Yeah. 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 Wow, that's really great. Great. Thank you. All right, Leslie, I don't want to forget you, so I'm going to go ahead and go to you. Are you ready?
Yep, ready?
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Drawing out a card.
Mhm.
A mentor who has blessed you, who's been a blessing to you.
Mm. This is a huge blessing to me. Back when during COVID, my computer wasn't working right. And I didn't know how I was going to get another computer. And I was trying to save my stimulus money, but since I haven't worked since 2011, it was kind of tough to figure out, well, how am I going to do this? I don't want junky computer. And well, God just blessed me through another writer. She said that God put it on her heart to help me, and she paid half and I paid half, and I was able to get the computer that I have.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, I just cried.
Oh,
Nobody had ever done that for me before, so
oh, that is so sweet. That's so sweet. Oh, I love that. So we can be blessings to others in just all kinds of ways, right?
yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Brandy, you're up next because somebody disappeared.
Ah, ha
Oh,
ha
you
ha.
moved. Okay.
I see
Okay.
how this works.
Uh,
This is a booby trap.
you may think that when you read this one. This was one of my last
Oh
was
boy.
I was going to getting to the end and I was still just coming up with different things. So um how okay, I don't even know how where is like a place like your dream place to go as a writing retreat? So that's not even really a blessing or a Thanksgiving necessarily, but it still sounded like a good thing to
But it
ask.
would be, right?
It
What
It
would
could
be
would
the
be a
be. Yeah,
blessing?
blessing.
Yeah.
it could be. Money's no object. Where are you going to go on your dream writing retreat?
It's not a where, it's a who. I would go and write with my best friend.
Oh, how sweet is
Yeah,
that?
because my best friend is also my writing buddy, and
Yeah.
it's not a place, it's a person. I don't really care so much about places.
Oh, fun, fun, fun. Okay, but I want to know where are the two of you going to go? Come on.
I don't
Where
know.
you go?
I don't know. TBD.
Uh, would you get more of a blessing out of being like in a solitary place or a big city? Let's go from that direction.
Probably someplace where there's really good music.
Oh, okay.
Sally asked beach or mountains?
Yes, yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. Well, you know what? Asthma, probably not the beaches for as much as I love water. So
Mountains.
There you go.
There we go. Tim, you're up. A writing movie that has blessed your life, or just a movie that has blessed your life because of for
How
you
it was
became a
written.
writing movie, like or it was inspiring for you.
Least it wasn't the lessons the hard way because there's just every one I ever learned would cover that. So, that would take all day.
So you didn't want to answer that question. You don't
Oh,
want to go back to that one.
what I thought was it's so interesting that as a guy, I think all of my lessons were learned the hard way. So it was nice to hear somebody that could just, had to ponder it for a minute. Um, but so I think that the movie, I'm one of my many ADD projects that I'm writing is a story that my dad told me from World War II, and it was a training mission that in my mind just blew up into a whole alternate history fiction. And I've always thought of him as my hero, my personal hero, and he never wanted to talk about the war when I was young. And when I finally got into college and I started to read a lot more history and he opened up some and then I understood why, he didn't want to talk about it to a younger person. And so the movie was Saving Private Ryan.
Mm,
My dad was a fighter pilot, so he was over top of all of that.
mm.
And he lost 22 of 25 pilots in his squadron in 9 months of combat. And with that history, he always said that he felt sorry for the guys down below, the ones that were slogging through the beaches, through the woods, through wherever. And it just impacted me to want to tell that story and to honor the people that sorry, I always get choked up on that served our country so selflessly. And that it was such an impactful movie. He said that he always said, if you want to know what war was like, don't watch John Wayne films. He said John Wayne films is all rah, 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 everybody's, having a great time while they're doing their duty. And he said, it's beyond hellish that you just can't imagine. And I think that movie really showed it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, thank you.
Sure.
That was a pretty cool answer. Very good answer. Wow. Sally says Band of Brothers was really good
It
too.
was. It was
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Lois, you get to follow up on that. I am going to say too, because just talking about movies, this movie came out a few years ago, but the Man Who Invented Christmas about Charles Dickens
Oh,
and
yeah.
Scrooge. So, if you need a movie, there you go. Oh, I'm going to have to give you another one because it was a favorite writer's chat guest, but since it's your first time in a while, we wouldn't know. Oh, your favorite writing spot, a place that blesses you, where you can go to write or that you're thankful that you have, where you can go to write, even if it's in your house or somewhere outside your home, your writing spot.
Does it need to be the current writing spot
No,
or
you answer
okay?
the question how you want.
Where I've written one book, Rise on Eagle's Wings. It began in Rochester, Minnesota, and I lived in a twinplex that was on a hill above Bear Creek, and I could see eagles and deer and a great blue heron, all kinds of wildlife. It was just a beautiful
Wow.
picture. And the cottage had a porch on the back, a shabby little old screen porch that overlooked. Well, first of all, behind the screen porch, I had one of the few living elm trees probably in the world anymore because most of them died out. It's beautiful. It spread over the whole yard like an umbrella. And then down the hill from there is this winding creek. And and mornings, spring, summer, and fall, I'd go out at 4:30 in the morning while it was still dark, a cup of coffee and a blanket, and two dogs. I hitched one to each ankle so they wouldn't run away. And I waited as the sun rose, and people would start biking over the bridge, and I'd hear the tires rumble. Or Joyce, a neighbor, I could hear her, yoo-hoo. She was like 80 something, and she walked couple hours every day, and she would often say hello and come over to chat, and I'd just leave all my Bible and my devotions and writing materials right there where it was on the bank of the creek, and go for a couple of blocks of walking with her and then come back and resume. And it was just To
Yes.
me, it was, this is, we talk about heaven. I believe that spot is the closest to the room in heaven that God has prepared for me. And I
I
will
love
never
it.
forget that.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we're all a little jealous.
Yeah. I
I
know
lived there
I know I'm
8 years.
new here, but I'd like to propose that we meet at that spot if there's ever an in-person meeting.
Let's
Yeah,
do
that's my
it.
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. That
It's
sounds absolutely
Battery
beautiful.
Park at
yeah.
just off the corner of 9th Avenue and 9th Street Southeast in Rochester, Minnesota.
There we go.
Wow. Just not in winter.
Right.
Yeah, no.
That was
Well,
pretty too, but I didn't sit out there in the winter.
wow, thank you for that. That was lovely. Wow.
Well, thank
All
you for the
right.
question. I was really hoping for a question I could answer.
And I'd like to say that you must be a great writer because I saw that entire scene in my head just now.
Oh, well, thank you.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Sally, I'm going to give you an answer or a question to answer. And then while you're typing it, I'm going to go on to Pam and then we'll come back to you. So, but yours is kind of an easy one. Sally, you're writing food or treat that is a blessing for you or you are really just thankful for. So you can put that in the chat. And then Pam, an unexpected blessing that you're thankful for.
Unexpected. Beginning of October, I live in New Jersey. So beginning of October, I went out to visit my youngest daughter in Arizona. And most of you know I have a special needs adult daughter, Anna, who's 33 and has seizures every day, right? And so the fear that most of us have as special needs parents is what if they outlive me? What if she outlives me? Well, I wasn't thinking of that when I went out, to see Mary. And I got there on a Wednesday. Thursday morning, my husband called and said, "Pray for us. We're on our way to the ER." She had fallen in the driveway and hit her head, with a seizure, cracked it open, and she ended up with 10 staples, which is not the first time, second or third time. Okay. So it's not a new thing, but it's the first time that I wasn't there. I was all the way across the country. And it felt awkward and it was unsettling. And I got home and about 2 weeks out there a week. I got home about 2 weeks later. I got the nudge from God. What if she outlives you? Well, you were all the way across the country and I took care of her. So, and he has always taken care of her in a lot of ways, even supernatural ways that I've seen. And it's like, he said, "I don't change. So if she outlives you, I will still take care of her." And that it kind of blew me away. And it was a blessing because the peace of mind it gives you is really hard to explain. So, but it was blog worthy, so I blogged about it. And I'm very thankful for it. And it was, yeah, unexpected.
God is so good, isn't he?
He
Just
is.
oh, so good, so good. All right, Sally, her writing food and snack. Hot liquid, chicory, or tea, but I'm always trying to get my daily amount of water into, and she's trying not to snack.
Feel that.
All right, so Norma's up next, but Kathy, I know that you're having internet trouble, but if you're able to be on to answer a question, let me know so you'll be up after Norma if you can.
Yeah, I should have audio, just not
Oh,
video.
yep, we hear you. All right. So Norma, yours is craft book. Your the writing craft book that has been a blessing to you.
One of them was the one I'm thinking of. I don't have it right here and I don't know the title, but I'll go with the second one. And it's one we did on Writers Chat Fiction, and it's James Scott Bell's Writing from the Middle. That was really, really good, whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction. There's a lot in that book, Writing from the Middle by James Scott Bell, that was just super, super, super good. And I've read through it a couple times,
and the other book was strictly a fiction book, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
I'm saying. And I just want to echo on Pam, if I could, for a minute.
Sure.
Also, as a special needs mom, when God did kind of the same thing for me a few years back when I was in the hospital with COVID pneumonia, I was afraid I was going to die. And who was going to look after my children? I think that's something all of us moms and dads fear, is who will look after our children and our grandchildren.
Yeah.
And God did the same thing. He just reminded me he's been there even before I was, and he will be with them and take care of them long after I'm gone. And what a great peace that just washes over you when you get to that place. So thank you for sharing that, Pam.
Glad I got the question because I was thinking about that. Something, that was a blessing, not necessarily for writing, because this is just about being thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Kathy's up next. If there's anyone else, though, that I've missed, that I'm not realizing you're here and you want to participate, please let me know now in the chat.
You got everybody. Except for yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, Kathy, then I'll do me. Okay. Kathy, a webinar or conference that you were especially blessed by or thankful for?
Well, I've been to a number of conferences, so that's a tough one. But I went to last year's Author Media Conference in Austin with probably the clearest goals in my mind of what I wanted to accomplish. Because I've been to some early and I wasn't really sure why I went to the conference, except I wanted to be a writer. So if you go to a conference, surely then you come out as a writer, right? And but I went last year and I specifically wanted to meet new people, make connections with writers. And certainly the content was really great. But yeah, I feel really blessed. I have made contact with a number of writers and several in this group, I think. I'm not sure how many. And because of some of you, I've got to make contact with more writers. And so that's just really special to me.
And Kathy's very special to us. So I met Kathy at the airport because we had connected early on, because Thomas Umstadt Jr. had set up, an Author Media Social, so we could do that, so people could make plans to share an Uber and all that. So Kathy and I met. I flew in about an hour later. She flew in, and this other guy picked us up from the airport. We all three went out to eat, and it was so fun. And then, of course, Melissa was there too with Morgan. And I hope Melissa doesn't mind me sharing this. She ended up spending the night at Kathy's home on her way back to her house. So, I mean, just think about that. That's just so wonderful, right? And so much fun. So that was great. So I'm glad that's the one you mentioned. I kind of was hoping when you got that question that you would.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it was cool because it was neat to connect with Melissa because we're not that far apart from each other. And I hope to visit her again on a ranch at some point. She's probably 4 or 5 hours away from me. I don't know, something like that.
Bad.
And yeah. So I hope to do that. And
we could have a writer's
Johnny,
chat thing on a ranch.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
Very cool.
It would be.
I'd fly in for it.
I'd fly in for
There you
that
go.
too.
Ooh.
So you got to plan
location.
something now, huh?
You got to plan it now.
Now you got 2 years of retreat locations ahead.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're on it, Tim. And we have to be careful at Melissa's because another writing group that Melissa, Rachel, and I are a part of, we've plotted some kind of, how shall we say, mysterious things going on at their ranch.
If you're a mystery suspense writer, yeah.
Ooh.
That is cool.
Ooh, I like that.
Lots of places you could get lost in.
We might never find the body.
Now we have to go out. I'm just saying.
Even when there's not that many trees.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of little canyons made of sandstone and stuff like that. Yeah.
Ooh,
pretty open
cool.
prairie. Lots of places to explore. It's kind of fun.
It would be hard to find a body out there.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
There are things called sinkholes. Some people aren't familiar with those, but yeah, they happen. My husband
Ooh.
actually rescued two calves that he found in a sinkhole
Oh,
while looking for them one time. Just heard them bawling, but couldn't see anything, looking at
mm.
just open prairie. And then he came over it and saw movement, saw one calf there, went and got down in the hole to get it and found there was another one
Another
underneath
one.
that one.
Oh my
Both of them
Oh,
alive,
Oh,
rescued them. Yeah.
wow.
Oh, that's a story. Okay.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
If you weren't afraid of
Yeah.
holes before,
Right.
You are now.
Well, Kathy, thank you. And we're just so glad too, because we all met at the conference. Now Kathy's one of, our regular people here, and we just love her, love that she joins us every week. So that's great too.
Oh, it's been a major blessing. Thank you.
Oh, yes, we're glad you're here. Okay, mine is my writing beverage. And so this is so sad. Um, when I'm on deadline like I am now, I just chug either Pepsi or Coke. It doesn't really matter which, with ice in an insulated cup. And either right now I'm on a vanilla streak, so I put vanilla syrup in it. Sometimes it's lemon, like freshly squeezed lemon juice. Sometimes it's the grenadine. So I am right now like we were talking last night about how many cartons, because the price of soda has really gone up.
yeah.
And how many cartons we are going through as a family. And I'm like, oh, so that's a lot of mine. But I go to Publix where you get 2 cartons and get one free.
Oh,
Back up.
so
So,
now we know your writing and all your stories are born on caffeine and sugar.
and it's like, so, after
Aren't those the
December,
best stories though?
in December, I'm going to really try to cut down. I went to the Florida Christian Writers Conference and didn't have any soda at all the whole time I was there. I was so proud of myself and thought, okay, this is good. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to keep this up. That lasted like 3 days.
Oh, like a New Year's resolution.
I gave up soda a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years ago. Just trying to have one less thing to drink, one less thing to buy, no artificial sweetener, that kind of
Right.
thing. And I've been doing good. I'm good.
Good.
I was fine giving it up.
I don't drink coffee and I don't drink tea. I don't like either of those. So I mean, it's like water and
Water
soda.
and what? Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that is kind of
don't drink
water and
coffee.
what?
Mental note, can't trust Johnny anymore.
Ah,
I never developed a taste for it. So no, I don't. I like the smell of some of
Funny.
it. The
It's
aroma can
funny
be
that you
really
said you didn't matter whether it was Coke or Pepsi. A friend
I
of a
know,
good
it's
friend of mine,
sacrilegious.
a good friend of mine, his daughter had to do a project for high school on statistics. So they set up a booth in a mall with blank cups and they asked you to do a taste test between Coke and Pepsi. And people were adamant. They were just one side or the other. This is Pepsi. I only drink Pepsi. I know it's Pepsi. And the statistics ran about 50% for each. And at the end, he revealed that none of them were drinking Pepsi. He used RC Cola for all of them.
Oh, and they should have been able to,
Yeah.
because
that is
RC
a
Cola
different
Yep.
taste.
is sodium free and
That
a
is.
totally
I think
different
what
taste.
he was proving was the bias you have when you think what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this is Pepsi.
Oh, I
Now,
bet
I
that
can
was fun.
I think I can
Pepsi
tell the
is
difference.
sweeter than Coke.
It is, and it's not as strong. So
Yeah.
I've been drinking Pepsi for years, but now I think it's like I needed something stronger.
Next she'll be going to
back to
Mountain Dew or
Monster
Snowdrop.
drinks, right?
Oh
Okay,
gosh, don't go
Johnny,
there.
Johnny, there's
Yeah.
this
We got
stuff
gestation
called
intervention.
Johnny, there's this stuff called Stir, S-T-U-R. It's all natural, made by a dad whose family didn't like to drink water, and don't go to your grocery store if it's like mine. Just go online. They have
Yeah.
tons of flavors.
You can
Got
get on
vitamin
Amazon.
C, no
I
sugar.
tried that and it burned my throat.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
Drink it.
Yeah,
I
she
was
sent
just
it to
about to
me.
write that down.
I said them
No.
to Pam. I could not drink them. They literally burned my throat. I don't know if it was allergy or what. So
Might have been the stevia.
everybody's different. Some other
It's-
people might. I can do other things with stevia.
Oh,
It's
So
drops.
I don't know what it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then
It's
you pour
drops.
water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
burn my throat like actual burn.
Wow,
Yeah,
you must be allergic
yeah.
to something.
I made mine might be. Yeah, wouldn't be the first. Yeah, I'm kind of like along with the. Yeah, allergic to the world.
Well, Johnny, just so you know, you're not alone.
But yeah, you could try it.
Right?
You'll probably be fine.
Johnny, you're not alone. I'm not a coffee drinker either. Please don't hit me. Don't hit me.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Seriously rethinking my choice of groups here.
But with
Just
you, I
kidding.
love the smell of it.
Yeah, the smell could
It
be
has to be if it's a really super cold day and like there's snow out on the ground and white and it's all just glistening, then I'll get a cup of coffee, but I add hot chocolate and whipped cream, and there you go.
There you go. More hot
It's really
chocolate.
good.
Like I can
But
taste coffee though. Like I don't even like mocha. Like, I just it's like, oh no, I don't want that.
Leslie's in our camp.
Yeah, well, I liked what she said about buying the small bottles of Coke and having them over a few days. No, I can't even do that. Okay, so if a small bottle is going
Yeah,
to be gone for
intervention.
one thing, probably three of them in one day. But even like a liter, like if you get a liter, I will drink it when it's open and maybe one other time, but after that, no. And it doesn't matter. It's just no, 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 no. So anyway. Well, that was fun, and we've gone all the rounds, but I've got some more questions. So I think I'm just going to open it up. So just try not to talk too much over each other. The one question that we had that we skipped for with Lois was a favorite writer's chat guest who has blessed you. So just real quick, did somebody pop into mind, Norma?
Right away, Zena Dello
Oh,
pops
yes.
into mind because she is so energetic and entertaining. And the first time she was on, she walked us through how to organically set up a reason for two girls to go in a shed to hide from a bad person. And
Oh,
she made it so logical and it just flowed. And we were all like, oh, we were just hanging on and she was just giving us
Can
an
we bottle
example.
some of that and sell it to the rest of us?
Right?
yeah. Yeah, she's amazing.
So
She's
She is
got a
she's
amazing.
one of my
podcast that's
favorites.
amazing. So
Yeah, her podcast is fantastic.
her is, yes.
That would be the storyteller's mission for anybody who is looking for that.
Yes, yes. Okay, Pam.
I have two that popped in my mind right away, and I can't remember when Jim Rubart was here. It's been over a
Been a
year,
while. Yeah.
and he made us all cry. We literally cried at the end because he was so encouraging, and it was just what everybody needed. So I can't even tell you what he talked about. All I know is I had to keep going, and he was such a blessing. And the other was Ben, and I miss him. Where is he? Introducing
Oh,
us to that living legacy poem.
yeah.
Oh, I love that so much.
Where is Ben? Someone needs to check on Ben.
Gonna
Yeah.
have to hunt him down.
Check that sinkhole in Wyoming.
Make sure the bees didn't get him. Yeah, I love that one too. That was great. We've had so many great ones over the years. It's
It's hard to pick one,
yeah.
It is.
just other than the first thing that pops to your mind.
Mhm.
Yep, yep. Okay, next question. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
You need brainstorming help, inspiration. You're down in the dumps. You have some good news to share. Who do you call?
That's easy. Once you narrowed it down, it's my writing partner. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I have a two or three that I can
Same.
call right
Same.
away or text or
Everyone's
something.
nodding out.
Mhm.
Everybody's got somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Three of my people
Not
are here.
everybody has somebody. That's the thing. And
Yeah.
for many, many years, I did not have a somebody.
Yeah.
What we
And
need.
didn't
We
know
need
how
that.
badly I needed a somebody. But sometimes you just kind of have to wait on God for God to bring in that person for you.
Right.
But don't give up if you're in that space. I will say that.
Mhm.
That's a good reminder. And yeah, and
It's worth holding on. Yeah.
we'll pray about it, I would say too. And then,
Absolutely.
make sure you are part of writing communities where you can find that person, because like even going back to Melissa and Rachel, and I'm not sure who all, maybe Brandy was part of the Jerry Jenkins Guild. So you guys met, is that right? You guys
I wasn't.
you
Me too.
weren't.
It
You
was
weren't.
Melissa, me, and
Okay. I'm trying to remember, but it's like, and now you guys are all here. And I mean, it's just like there's just so many communities out there, and you just make or go to a conference, and it's like I've got friends from the first major writers conference I got. Now they're not necessarily involved in writing so much anymore. But my goodness, I know if I needed anything, I could call on any of them, so those friendships were just so, so precious. So yeah, sometimes we have to, and we're lots of us, not all of us, many of us are introverts. It's kind of hard for us to do that. But yeah, you just got to kind of get out there and pray that God brings you that person into your life.
Yeah,
If you don't
because
have,
it really is a blessing.
it
And
is.
it's perfect for this episode. It is a blessing.
Yes, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be another writer. I mean, like my sister's an avid reader. She's not a writer. Well, she is a good writer, but I mean, she's just not interested in that kind of thing. But she's my best brainstorming partner ever. So, she's such a blessing to me in that way. So there's just different, different people fill different roles sometimes too. And I think too, it's important to be that person for somebody else. I mean, right? And I
Yeah,
hope
be
y'all
that encourager.
Yeah, I hope you all can think of somebody that you are that person or
One of
to
my favorite things to do is brainstorm. Brainstorming is just fun.
It is.
It is fun.
It is fun.
Melissa and Norma haven't killed me yet.
them.
I'm grateful.
We've been tempted to find one of them places in Wyoming.
I'm sure.
But we love
She's
you.
with us. She's not in a sinkhole. So.
Yeah. Time to sleep with one eye open.
Well, Ben Cooper has been a great encourager of mine also, to me also, and Sherilyn Bisbano, who I met on Writers Chat, who then came and visited me and then took me to my first writers conference.
Yeah,
Right.
she was one of
And
our early people and was
right.
with us for quite a while. And she's such a blessing to
I
us.
call her my nickname for her is Cherrylyn. She's always cheering someone on.
She is. She's a great cheerleader. You're
Yep.
right.
And I would just like to say that this community, Johnny, I just can't express my gratitude for you and Jeannie and Bethany starting this. What do we figure 8 or 9 years ago?
About 8 years.
And what an encouragement,
Yeah.
because there's times it's like, oh, I really don't want to, but I guess I will. And I always walk away so encouraged. And just knowing that you guys take prayer requests seriously, and just the guests that we have on are just amazing. And I appreciate you, Johnny, and those that support us by coming and spreading the word. This is a fantastic community, and I'm so blessed and honored to be a part of it.
And I'm going to give a shout out to you and Melissa
Ditto.
Brandy because, you guys are now the the ones, and it's just great to work with all three of you to put these episodes together and to get guests and get ideas and all of that and all that you do behind the scenes. I mean, not everyone probably even knows everything that goes on behind the scenes because we do kind of keep it a little bit simple, but yeah, this has been a blessing too. Never dreamed that it would last this long. And I will tell you, I mean, I try to keep, and I do have to miss sometimes for things, but usually Tuesday morning is like, nope. And my family knows, nope, Tuesday mornings are locked in.
It's like a sacred time.
Mhm.
It is. Brandy invited me, and I'm like, every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday. Every
Yeah.
And now I'm like last week I
And
was
I'm like,
Social
and I'm on
Security
the
office.
every Tuesday and Friday
Yeah.
schedule.
Yes, yeah, you do. Yeah,
It is hard
because-
to miss, because depending, like, I got stuck in the Social Security office last week, and like I'm looking at the clock, I'm like, it's time for writer's chat. Come on, it's time for writer's chat, and I didn't get out till like noon. So I'm like, but
Yeah.
um,
Pam's over there texting me. She's like, oh, I'm stuck
yeah,
in the Social Security
still here.
office.
I'm still here.
And so
Maybe-
thankful when we can't be here that there's the replay.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what Leslie said. Thankful for the replays
Yes.
for when we do
yes.
have to miss. And what a great idea. And how cool that we have over 300 episodes now. That is
Oh.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And then Leslie
And I-
also mentions Writers Chat Fiction, which Brandy heads up, and that's the second Friday of the month. But Brandy opens up the room every Friday, even when we're not doing Writers Chat Fictions, for people to come on if they want to, for writing time and encouragement and just whatever. I will put in a little plug, or let Brandy put a little plug, because we're kind of starting again. Do you have
Yeah.
anything? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, generally the way we go is we have people that are really interested in fiction and want to, commit somewhat regularly. Usually we say, please come to, once a month scheduled meetings where we go over a book, usually some kind of craft book about fiction. So we learn some element. We take that through a whole year. But then the other Fridays, we meet for what I call writing chatty support. So we chat, we support each other, ask questions when we need help, and we'll write together. And it's just a good time. And we've also begun to open up the last Friday of the month for all of Writers Chat to come in and join us in that space. And we have had several people come and start to join in that. And that's been really wonderful, a space to have that. So now that we're near the end of the year, we are opening up to invite anybody that thinks they want to get more involved in a fiction dedicated group. And, we're pretty flexible. If something comes up and you can't make it to a monthly meeting or whatever, that's okay. We're fine. Usually we take the whole year. And if after a whole year you haven't been there a whole long time, then we'll say, well, maybe now is not a good time. And that's okay. You're welcome to come back. But anybody that's interested, send me a message, let me know, and you're welcome to come and join us.
Well, I have to say that my Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm so thankful that I'm retired, because now I don't have to quit my job to attend these.
Or use your vacation time.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
We're glad to. We're glad to.
I was part of the Writers Chat Fiction for a while, and the coolest thing happened during one of these, in between one of our meetings, because I often heard fiction writers say, I was planning this, but the character wouldn't let me. The character said this or the character said that. And I'm like, y'all are kind of like, But doing Writers Chat Fiction, I was working on a fictional piece that I've shelved for right now. And my character spoke to me. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm really a writer. My character spoke to me. I was so excited, y'all. As you can tell, it still excites me that my fictional character actually spoke to me. So a lot of good things come out of Writers Chat Fiction. So if you're kind of, well, maybe not, just come check it out. Give it a.
And there's the other thing is, if you check it out and you find it's not for you, it's okay to go. It's fine. There's no judgment.
Yep. We record those too, but it's not open to the public. So you have to.
We usually record
to
just the book
link.
sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get that link, you have to be part of the group. Okay, I've got a couple more, so we'll see about these. All I had written down was Imagination Station, so I'm not. I think what I was thinking was, where's your imagination station? Where do you go just to sit or stand, or I don't know what you do?
That's an easy one, because it's on the corner in downtown Hagerstown. It's an actual museum called Imagination Station for children. So
there you
I
go.
could give you an address for where I can go for that.
I like it.
Cool.
We
Two
live
places.
Yes.
Sorry, Pam.
Yeah, we live way out in the country, so sometimes just walking, out, and there's no traffic, and there's wildlife and different plants, and I find fairy rings and stuff like that, and so that helps me.
That's cool. Rachel?
My two places would be in nature, specifically for me, the beach, and just listening.
Love the beach.
Like, have you ever sat on a jetty and listened to the waves,
Mhm.
and then sat on the bottom of the jetty and listened to the waves? It's an entirely different sound.
Mhm.
And my other place that I don't spend enough time in is in God's presence. Is just stop, cease driving, go sit in God's presence, and just not just to get like, okay, like here's my time and now give me inspiration, but just to be with him when I can just do that, and then it flows naturally from that.
Yeah. I don't do that enough either.
Mine is science and nature articles, especially where they've discovered new things or there's some unusual creature or something. It just sparks my imagination. I absolutely love reading that stuff.
That's good. And that's not even an answer I had thought of, like magazines. I mean, so that's really good. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, especially I have like Pocket on my homepage on um one of my web browsers, and there's always something interesting popping up. I'm always like, oh, what about that? Oh, what about the biggest rabbit holes ever? But love them. And a lot of them come make me have a lot of different ideas. My brain will go, oh, and you have like that juxtaposition sometimes between reality and creativity. And I hit that a lot when I read those kinds of things.
Very
That's
cool.
great.
And a lot of God's creatures are very, I write mostly fantasy, so a lot of God's creatures are very cool,
Yeah, well, yeah.
especially using fantasy.
Like
So
there's a fish with human teeth.
yeah, right?
No, like
What?
really, like it looks like human teeth. I mean, it's the creepiest, weirdest looking fish,
It
but it's
is. I
not like
can't
AI
remember the
generated.
name.
It's a real fish. I don't remember their name either, but it's like,
Yep,
some of
I've
these
seen
things,
it.
they're just
That's got to
amazing.
be an evil villain orthodontist at work somewhere.
Right.
That's
Oh
Oh,
my
crazy.
God.
Okay, a couple things from the chat. Leslie said archaeology and science articles too. And then Sally, that ideas come during her pastor's sermons while watching movies, TVs, that whole what if
yeah.
question. Yes, and Leslie too. My pastor always sets me on fire to get moving on my goals. He's very energetic and inspiring. So yeah, I mean, ideas are everywhere. So any
Mhm.
place can be your imagination station.
If Sophia were
Even
here
even
today, that fish with human teeth could be in her book two of
Oh, it
her
could.
Right?
of
Yes.
her
It really
yeah.
story.
could
We'll have
be.
to tell her that.
Yeah, for sure.
That could be the
And then
villain.
and then sometimes you're just like going about and doing something, and all of a sudden your brain has that overlap between, reality and fantasy. In a
Yeah.
moment, you're like, in that split second, you're like,
Hmm.
story idea.
Yes.
And you
Yep.
better have something to write it down because you won't remember.
Yes,
Ask
yes,
me
Mhm.
how I
Right.
know.
couple
yes.
couple
Mhm.
years ago,
Same.
couple years ago, I saw it was an article like that, and the lead picture in the magazine was a mouse with a human ear on its back. And I thought
Yeah,
this
I
had to be
remember that.
photoshopped. Yeah, and the article was through gene manipulation, they grew a human ear on the back of a mouse. And the
Oh,
author, one of the first things he said was, "Why?" And I
Yep.
thought, well, obviously to haunt my dreams for the rest of my life. That's why.
seriously?
What other reason could there be?
Mm.
Hmm.
Feel that.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, this has been so fun. And I just really feel like it was almost like God directed the right questions to the right person.
Yeah.
Right? It was just kind
Yeah.
of almost eerie the way that happened. So thank you
Mhm.
all for participating in Thanksgiving Roulette. It's just been a delight.
Oh, this is so fun.
Yeah, that was
Kathy,
that was fun.
Kathy, did you have one more thing you
Oh,
wanted to say? I've
God.
seen your picture light up a couple times.
I, I actually don't know, but I was curious. I'd like to talk to Pam sometime because I live out in the country too.
Hmm.
And out here in the West, and where I'm at, it is very dry. So we have irrigation canals
Uh-huh.
bringing water in that are dry in the wintertime, but in the summertime. But there's always a road beside it. So I often walk there, but I often take my phone and talk to my phone while
Hmm.
I'm and record just random thoughts, and then I can get those transcribed, and it's sort of funny what comes up just from the walking and
Yeah.
talking out. And as you said, there could be hawks and owls flying over,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Wow.
lots of bunnies running loose, and
And
yeah.
plants, can I tell you, I was the one time, and of course I got a lot of pictures. I walked past the irrigation pond, and then there's a swampy area before the woods get too thick. And I looked down, I thought, what is coming out of the ground? And it was this like it went this way. It was a dark maroon, came up to a point. There was like three of them, and I'm like, what? I went home and I said to my husband, "Hun, we have an emerging dragon near the irrigation pond." He said, "We have a what?" I said, "Look, it looks like dragon horns coming up." It's end up being, I think,
Hmm.
skunk grass or skunk, whatever, because there's tons of that. But I didn't know it came up like that in that color because they're usually green, the skunk grass and all like that. And I'm like, stuff like that. P- Plants of there was one, it looked dead, but it had these little sharp, and it wasn't thorns. I don't know what it was, but and they're about as long as my finger, like this. And I'm like, fairy arrows. So I got a picture of that,
Oh, so
stuff like that. I
pretty.
find tree roots that look like things. I find trees that they literally look like they're eating a body. I'm like, why are the trees eating the wood gnomes? The wood gnomes are their friends. So I already have a basis of all of that, all those things and more plants. I've already got notes for a novel. And
I love
every time I go
that.
out, there's something different. So it's very cool.
It's like seeing the world through the eyes of a child again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just
Yeah,
Yeah.
letting
Leslie
letting
sees
yourself
things
be.
in clouds, same thing. I
Yeah.
have pictures of at night where
My
there was
flooring. I see things in my flooring.
right. Well,
Mhm.
there was a full moon one night. I looked out the window, my front window, and I went, "Well, that's pretty cool." I took a picture, and what I didn't realize until I looked at the picture with the clouds, it looks like a dragon eating the moon.
Mm,
That's going to be in a story someday.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
that's
I
so
saw things in the rafters at my mom's house when I was staying there for 2 weeks. I posted one on Facebook and said, "What do you see?" I saw all kind of different animals on each different rafter. There's a bear and a fox.
Oh my
We couldn't
goodness.
decide if it was a mongoose. I think one was a sloth. One would look like a little terrier face.
I thought the one looked like an otter that you
Yeah,
shared.
or an
Yeah.
otter. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I was going to take a picture of my bathroom floor just so that I can go back and just draw the picture I saw in it.
Me too. Me too. That's funny. And my husband doesn't see anything. I'm like, "What do you see here?" He goes,
He's
three,
nothing.
three dots on a piece of wood.
No, that's a face.
And I
Yep.
got my husband trained. He'll come in and say, "Hun, you want to come get a picture of this fairy ring before I mow the lawn?" And I'm like, he came in the one time and he said, I've never seen a fairy ring like this. And I went out and it was a fairy ring, all the mushrooms, but they were burnt black. They looked like somebody had torched them. And I'm like, ooh. So I have notes on that too, and pictures and everything. Yeah. I want to write them all. I don't have time.
I know, there's never
That
One
enough.
story
interaction
at a time.
Lois?
between you and your husband, that interaction is very interesting, your different points of view. I could see those two becoming characters.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Different perspectives. Okay, well, next week we will not be meeting because, Thanksgiving. I hope you all just have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving week. I'm really excited because we have family flying in from Oklahoma who are going to be with us for several days. I just can't wait for them to get here. The week after that, Tracy Crump, who has been, a guest here before, will be here to talk about, oh my gosh, I had it in my head. Let me see. Critique, give and take. So she's going to be talking about
Ooh.
how to give critique and how to accept critique.
Oh,
So
that's a good one.
yes, and Tracy is very, very skilled at running critique groups, and also she's especially well known for having written, I don't know how many stories that have been picked up by Chicken Soup for the Soul, different
Ooh.
series that she's done. But she has a phenomenal track record for getting things published and for teaching others how to write articles that will be published in Chicken Soup. So next 2 weeks, critique, give and take. So just want to thank you all for being here and for participating and playing. This has just been such a delight. If you're watching the replay, we're sorry you missed out on the fun, but we hope you'll join us another time and be with us. We're here every Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. And we just would be thrilled to have you join us live if you can. If not, we do thank you for watching the replays. And we also invite you, of course, to join our Facebook group, Writers Chat members. Check out our Facebook page, and you can find all of our episodes or most of our episodes on the Serious Writer YouTube channel under the Writers Chat playlist. So with all of that, everyone, please stick around for the after party, and we'll see you
Happy
on.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.